Hey everybody, excuse me, Jamie down at the bee yard. It is the middle of April. We've had some nice warm weather and it turned into some cold weather. So it's going to be a high today at 45. Last night we had a freeze, it went down to 32. And I have made 25 nukes since last Monday. I ordered in 30 queens, if you've been following, and I've been introducing them, and I've introduced them in different ways. This method of introduction, I actually did pull the cork on the cage, allowed the bees to release the queens themselves, and what I hope to be seeing as I look in is a quiet colony, knowing that they have a queen, and B, I would love to see eggs. That's all I need to see is eggs. I don't have to see the queen. And I want to make sure they have enough sugar and pollen substitute for them to get by here in this cold spell. So as we get started, I'll show you something. I have been wanting to make lids. I had migratory lids, which are just solid wood. They have an R value of R1. And these things, for me, rotted out really quick, both in the nucleus, nuke box size, and the 8 frame size and 10 frame. So I'm done with them. So I thought, man, I've always wanted to make a nice lid, so I came up with this design I wanted to show you. And this is basically it. And it needs some trimming, but what it is, it's 1-inch foam board. I have, this is a 3/4 rim, 3/4 by 3/4. On my next ones, I'm going to go all the way to 1 inch. And I have aluminum coil stock that I bent to cover it. So that is, you know, as far as weatherproof, that fascia's 20, 30 years or more. It's stapled to the wood. That wood is weather resistant wood, and that foam isn't going anywhere. The bees might eat that if they get to it, but they're probably not going to get to it. So this foam board has, remember the nuke box has a lid, has an R value of R1. That foam board is R5, and that 1-inch air gap is R3, so we're already at R8. And we have a little tiny bit of R value with this, but you know, when we put that over here, that's where we have that 1-inch air gap. So that's at least R8, possibly R9. So we're 9 times the R value of that migratory cover, and it's going to last forever. And it's light as a feather, and it's strong. Like, I can't twist that, you know? That is strong stuff. It's light. So it will require a brick on top, or a half a brick, to keep it put. It was actually quite windy out here, and only one of these drifted off, and the reflexit stayed in place. So anyway, I really like that setup, and I'd be glad to sell you some. Okay, back to the colony. So those bees are quiet. Not a sound. And I'm looking at the cage, and there's no bees around that cage. I'll show you. That means she's been released, and I suspect she's alive because they're so quiet. When the bees don't have a queen, they tend to be noisy, they tend to be unsettled. These bees look like they're just totally happy. So let's take out this end frame, which is should have some syrup in it, and it's got some pollen in it, and it's got some bees, and other than that, it's bone dry. So I'm going to be feeding them. I'm going to show you a new way I've been doing some feeding, which I really like. Here's some pollen substitute, which they've been whittling away at and doing a good job. I'm just going to take a real fast look here for eggs and a queen. There's that queen. Look at that. And she's walking around like she's the boss. I'll show you. See her? Right there. She's walking around like they've known each other for years. And I'm sure that there are eggs there. And I'm seeing eggs. So we're in great shape. Gonna put them in before they get too cold. All right, so success. Now I'm gonna take this queen cage out. They're gonna have to rebuild the comb where she was. You can see that there's the screen, there's the hole, all the sugar that was candy is gone. And that is an Italian queen. You can tell by her golden color. And the eye on the box. I got Italian queens and Carniolan queens from Oliveras through Man Lake. All those queens look terrific. And this is my feed frame. There's a little bit of brood on there actually, so look at that. That went rock hard. But they'll metabolize that. Actually, they're working on it here. So they do have syrup. I'm gonna give them some more. And this is the way, so you just saw how I, kind of a new method. And let's see how this works. I've been doing it and haven't had too much trouble. So there's some pollen, right? There's probably two different ways you can do this. So I'll show you the one way of doing it. I won't cover up the pollen. I'm just gonna cover up or fill the empty comb. So I'm just pouring it right in there, filling them right up. And I could do that on the other side too. So they're full. Now I could leave that dry because the bees, when they build the comb, they build them angled up. That's a little severe in my illustration, but if they built them like this or like this, the honey and everything would run out, right? So, and they build them like that. Isn't that smart? So I can put that in dry, and just a little bit of that's going to spill out of there. And I probably will. On a lot of them, I take a sugar syrup spray, and I lightly spray just to seal that, so that doesn't come out too easy, and to help them metabolize it. I see it going rock hard now, so they're going to have to work for that to get that out of there, which is okay. I'm going to put in a little extra pollen substitute here, and that will provide them the protein they need to feed those new bees, new larva that hatches. And here's my hive tool. I'm going to center those frames. I'm going to put my reflexit back on. That helps seal too, you know. And it prevents this lid from sticking to the box. And the reason that air gap is there, it has two functions. It is an insulation area, and it allows give room to accept the lid, so I don't have to really crush that pollen patty. Then leave the lid, you know, up in the air. And that whole rim idea I learned from Ian Stepler, the Canadian beekeeper, who is just a genius when it comes to bees. He's experiencing a lot of snow right now. If you want to see what beekeeping like is in Manitoba, Canada, look up the Canadian beekeeper. That's a totally different world up there. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. God bless.